Good morning. Thank you very much for coming. My name is Dan Alvin. I'm an attorney at the Institute for Justice. We're a public interest law firm that's been vindicating people's constitutional rights by bringing lawsuits to protect civil rights and economic liberties for over 20 years. Our very first case in 1991 was a challenge to DC's licensing of hair braiders, and we've litigated 9 cases since then in 8 different states plus the District of Columbia. Today we are launching the new National Braiding Initiative by filing in 3 different states: Missouri, Arkansas, and the state of Washington. And I'm here today with our 2 clients, Niang and Stigers, as well as my colleague, Greg Reed. And Greg, in a moment, will explain to you what's going on in this particular case. Then Tamika will tell you a little bit about her new salon and what she hopes to get out of this lawsuit, and then we'll open things up for questions. Greg?
Thank you, Dan. Something as safe and common as braiding hair should not be regulated, particularly when those regulations involve at least 1,500 hours of irrelevant training that can cost tens of thousands of dollars. That is why Tamika Stigers and Niang have joined with the Institute for Justice in filing a federal lawsuit challenging the application of Missouri's cosmetology licensing requirements to African-style hair braiding. This lawsuit seeks to protect their constitutional right to economic liberty and ensure that they may continue to provide their valuable services to the people of St. Louis. African-style hair braiding is a form of natural hair care and has been safely practiced for thousands of years. Tamika and Joba have been braiding hair for much of their lives to the benefit of their friends, family, and most importantly, their loyal customers. But in the state of Missouri, before they can lay their hands on their customers' hair, they first need to obtain a cosmetology license, which requires at least 1,500 hours of cosmetology training. The only problem is that cosmetology has nothing to do with African-style hair braiding. Of those 1,500 hours, not a single hour is dedicated to African-style hair braiding. 40 of those hours are dedicated to instruction on how to provide facials. 110 of those hours are dedicated to instruction on how to provide manicures, including arm and hand massage, and the treatment of nails. Requiring African-style hair braiders to obtain a cosmetology license only serves to protect cosmetologists from competition and stifle entrepreneurs. The United States Constitution protects every individual's right to pursue the occupation of their choice free from unreasonable government regulation. This lawsuit seeks to protect Tamika and Joba's right to economic liberty and their continued pursuit of the American dream. Now Tamika Stigers will share a few words.
Good morning. Thank you guys for joining us. As Joba and I stand here to be a face for this movement, we just want to let everyone know it's not just about us, it's about the hair braiders, the women who are in their homes braiding in fear that they may have a fine or have jail time. We're standing for them, and we just want to let the Missouri Cosmetology Board know that because there aren't any hair braiding in their curriculum, we do not feel that it should be regulated. And that's why we're here today, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks very much, and we're going to go ahead and take questions now.
What would be some of the reasonable standards a hair braiding shop should have to meet? I mean, yes, it's natural, but you're still, putting hands on an individual's head. What kind of infection control sort of training do you think there should be?
Well, there doesn't necessarily need to be any. There are 11 states that don't have any licensing whatsoever for African-style hair braiders, and there's no evidence to indicate that that's any less safe than the states that do license hair braiders as cosmetologists. But even if there was some interest in ensuring that hair braiders have some sort of basic level of sanitation training, that would only be a few hours. Really all you need to learn in order to safely braid hair and braid so in a sanitary way is that you need to keep a clean workstation and you need to wash your hands in between customers. Once you know those 2 things, you know 90%, if not more, of what you need to know about how to safely braid African hair.
May I ask you a question? Did you go to cosmetology school for a while? Did Did you attend some of those classes?
I have not attended cosmetology school. I have acquired many years of other schooling, but not cosmetology school.
I was just wondering if in your experience, what were some of the things that they teach? The guys alluded to that, some of the things that they teach that you find particularly irrelevant or worthless.
Right, so some of the teachings that I'm in cosmetology school I know from researching just to look up what's going on because I am doing hair. Some of the requirements such as chemically treating the hair, I don't like that. I think it's very unnecessary and unhealthy to the scalp and hair. Hair cutting, a lot of those type of things you learn in cosmetology school, and I don't do those.
You don't do facials, you don't do...
I don't do facials, but I do have an esthetician here at the shop who could do a facial for you if you so choose to have one.
Well, it's probably time.
Do you face any repercussions because you're not licensed at this point?
Oh yes we do, because what they want us to do is have this cosmetology license, and as the word cosmetology is used chemical, we don't use any chemical at all whatsoever. All we need to do is, what we need to have is a comb, our hands, and our knowledge of braiding hair. So what they want us to do is have these hours of training about, because myself, actually, I did the training, just trying to be alive in the business, to have a license hanging there, but I didn't finish it because that's not what I wanted to do, and that's not what I need. What they was teaching me was what? How to apply a relaxer, how to cut hair, how to flat iron hair. That's not what I need. And I went through the whole Malady's book. What they have is like maybe 15 minutes of how to French braid hair. Instead of 3,000 hours out of everything. So.
And this is very expensive.
Very expensive, it costs money, of course. Besides your hours that you'll be spending there, teaching you how to do this that you don't need, you'll be spending money to pay for this license. You really don't need it.
So are you fearful that you might be cited or fined or anything like that?
It's possible, yes. According to the Missouri law for under cosmetology, it is possible to have fines levied against us. Yeah.
So if you were successful, what would victory mean to you?
If we're successful, which I think we will be because it makes sense to just even the most rational person, we'll be able to pursue our dream, provide services to the community and do it in a way where we're free and not fearful of someone coming in to say, oh, you don't have a license. So we'll be free to teach others and to do it in a professional setting other than just in our homes.
Exactly. Yeah. Just to actually have honest living, not having the state behind us trying to give us, these hours that we don't need. So we can do this, even if you have to get some type of license, business license or anything, but not cosmetology license. We do not need cosmetology.
Did you and Joba agree with Dan that, should there be something that you have to prove to show that basically, basic cleanliness, sanitation, any kind of licensing that you think would be reasonable for the work that you guys do?
It's a possibility, but we don't think it's necessary. The laws of, just demand, if there's a place that is not sanitary, you're not going to go there. So you're going to choose to go to a reputable place, and those hair braiders are going to want to be sanitary. They're going to want to have a clean workplace because then they'll have more clients.
Have you gotten any pressure from cosmetologists or an organization or somebody call up and say,
I have not received any pressure because I am new to the salon. This is our 3rd week here. I chose to stay in my home for that reason, not to deal with the state cosmetology board, knowing what I'm doing and where I am. So.
I've been in my shop over maybe 13 years now. So far, really, I haven't had any pressure whatsoever at that time. Because actually, I do work with some beauticians. What they do, the hair is prepared by them, shampoo, conditioner, treated, and everything. Come to me, do the sewing, the braiding, and go back to them to get it styled. So this is like a 2-in-1, 3-4 business altogether. So this license, they want everybody to have. Everybody doesn't need it.
Can you tell me, I'm sorry to belabor this point, but you mentioned this cosmetology school or whatever it's called, you had to pay money. How much money did you pay for that? Do you recall?
Actually, myself, since I did have my shop already set up, I did not have to go to the school. I was doing it by apprenticeship. What they call by apprenticeship is you have somebody in the shop that is licensed, that know what this business is, and that teaches you how to do it like apprenticeship, like the word is. So you do like get hours of training and reading and all that, and then when you're ready, you can go pass your license. I spent over 1,500 hours, but I can say maybe I was ready, but this is not what I wanted to do.
But you would estimate it, I think you were telling me earlier, it's roughly an average, maybe $16,000?
That's correct. So for someone who wants to acquire a cosmetology license and doesn't have the time to pursue the at least 3,000-hour apprenticeship program, they have to go through a private licensed cosmetology school. That's that 1,500-hour requirement that we were talking about before. Well, that cost can run from $10,000 to over $20,000. And we've cited in our media documents and in our lawsuit that the Graber School right here in St. Louis would cost you $16,000 in tuition and cost of attendance in order to acquire 1,500 hours of irrelevant training to pursue a safe and natural hairstyling technique.
Further questions?
You had mentioned that you all have had 9 cases litigated. What was the verdict in those cases?
Sure. We're actually currently litigating the 9th case, so we don't have a result yet in that case. That case is in Texas, although we've had a preliminary victory. We won in the other 8 cases. 2 of them we won in the court of law, 5 we won legislatively, and 1 we won with an administrative change.